KT7 up here. Today, I will review and showcase Zidane from FF9. He is one of two 100 cost units from this collaboration. My Zidane is currently at level 89, and I should be able to get him to 140 in another 25 days. Zidane is an anti-mage unit that can reach 100 defense penetration and has very high crit rate. He can also seals enemies' courage removal, which is great for himself and flag Glaciela. He is a high damage DPS unit that can perform follow-up attacks for himself, but he is somewhat of a glass cannon. These are the items we will go over today. Let's get started. He is a 100 cost unit in the wind element. His new unique main job can equip dagger, hats, and cloths. He is one of the few units that can equip Orlando's TMR. His sub-jobs are High Dragoon and Operative. His TMR is an accessory. The stats are HP 210, Defense 4, Spirit 9, Accuracy of 4 and 8 crit. The ability is a self-buff, give the unit a 3x, 35% physical damage reduction barrier, and 30 accuracy for 3 turns. This is a very TMR for more accuracy. His base stats are pretty good across the board. Has 61 base agility, which is the same as Perrine. His dex and luck are both very high, which will help him crit more and enables his semi-evasive build. His weapon type resistances are 15 to both slash and strike, and 20 against magic. He has a -5 to pierce, and -10 to missile. His ailment resistances are 50 to poison, 10 to blind, and 50 to berserk. He is a 50 faith unit, but since we are in the status ailment meta, I highly recommend giving him sleep resistance or whatever you are facing. He has a base move of 3, and jump of 2, and has a support that can give him 1 additional movement. Moving on to his mastery ability. He gets 10 unit attack resistance and 20 reaction block rate. At level 140, he gets another 20 reaction block rate, acquired AP up 30%, and upgrade to his version of calculated Ren to include disable CT up for 3 turns for the targets. Next, his new weapon. The general ability is slash attack up 15. And for Zidane only, he also gets crit rate of 15, reaction block rate of 30, and AoE resistance of 8. This is his best weapon. All the character only buffs are very good. With his dagger equipped, he has 70 reaction block rate. And this is the only source of AoE resistance he can get from equipments. Be sure to get enough recipes for 2+5s. I highly recommend aim over assault if you can only build one. The second piece of gear from FF9 is the Tetra card. The general ability is unit resistance 10 and crit evade 20. For Zidane, he gets defense penetration 30 and physical man-eater 20. An awesome piece of gear for him. Also, this is a great pickup for those that missed the Pod 153 item from Nier. I recommend getting at least 2+5s, 1 shield and 1 barrier. Moving on to his main job support abilities. This first one needs to be equipped at all times. It gives him 24% attack and 40 slash penetration. His main sub support 2 gives him 20 crit rate and lower AP consumption 20. His main job reaction has a 70% proc chance to lower slash and strike damage by 30%. Next up is LB. It is a unit attack up to 5 panels away. First increases physical damage by 20% for 3 turns, then deals damage large and lower AP consumption by 30 for 3 turns. Since this is not his highest range ability, so typically he would use his LB as his second attack, which is great since he is very likely to have his follow-up attack active by then. Now his buffing abilities. This first one here has the highest AI priority. It is a cross-shaped group buff. For 3 turns, increase crit damage by 20 and unit attack resistance by 25 for the group. And for himself, wind attack up 20 and slash penetration up 40 for 3 turns. This is an awesome buff. Unit resistance is very important in the current meta. However, he will run around and cast this multiple times for all his teammates. Next is self buff. First give himself courage and restore 15 AP. Then gives him magic damage reduction of 25% and seal enemies' courage removal upon hit for 3 turns. Sealing courage removal will help him and flag Glacy when she gets her LB upgrade. Now his attacking abilities. Including LB, he has 1 AoE attack and 4 unit attacks. The first one is his version of Calculated Rend. It has a range up to 6. Before damage, it activates his follow-up attack for self for 3 turns, breaks physical damage barrier, then deals damage medium. And lower target's healing power by 40, and disable CT up for 3 turns. This is a very strong ability, and since it has the highest range, the AI usually would start off with it, then LB on his next turn. It is a single hit move, so it does not have any elemental chain damage bonus like Bradley's. The second attack on the list is a unit attack that has a range of 3. First deals 2 hit large damage. And for 3 turns, lower target's crit evasion and crit damage resistance post damage. It would have been perfect if these debuffs are prior to damage, but this is still a very strong attack. This is also the first crit damage resistance in peril in the game. Next up is low AP attack. Also a unit attack with a range of 2. First deals damage small, steal an item, and increase Zidane's agility by 25 for 3 turns. Stealing an item means nothing in PvP. Finally, his job level 25 ability. It is another unit attack with a range of 3. Prior to damage, lowers target's unit resistance by 25 for 3 turns, then deals damage medium. A unit resistance debuff ability is very helpful against newer units like Helena and Soul. And it will enable Zidane's follow-up attack to deal more damage. Continuing on to the sub-part of this main job. The first ability is a cross-shaped AoE attack up to range 4. Deals medium damage and has a 25% chance to cause confusion to the targets. The other ability in this sub-kit has a map-wide effect. It restores 50% of HP for all your teammates and give them 15 AP. However, it causes instant death to Zidane. Courage and resistance to instant death do not apply to this ability. But re-raise does. He will come back to life if he has re-raise. After all, the AI will never use this ability in auto PvP. It could be useful in manual. Now let's take a look at his sub-job's Hydreigon. This is the sub-job I like the most. It pairs well with Flag Glacy and Wind Veritas. For support abilities, he gets Hydreigon Lore for 24% attack and 40 defense penetration. This is his only source of defense penetration from his kit. I would recommend this for him. The other support ability is Hydreigon Focus, giving him 12% agility and 12 strike resistance. For reaction, he gets Preemptive Piercer. 30% chance to preemptive counter up to 2 panels away. The 2 notable abilities are Stunning Lance, which has no casting time, an AoE attack that has a chance to stun, and Dragon Scale, a self-buff that gives him attack up, defense up, and protect for 3 turns. He does have a couple of jumping abilities. However, I don't recommend it for auto PvP. Next is Operative Sub. He gets Operative Intuition, giving him Move +1, and Hate down 3. The other support ability is Operative Dual Wielding, giving him 12 evasion, and acquired AP up 40. Both of these could be useful in different situations, but I just don't think they are better than defense or slash penetration. The reaction ability is Predictive Counter, which I like the most. 30% chance to preemptive counter all attacks up to 3 panels away. The 2 notable abilities are Toxic Assault for chance to poison, and Subterfuge to buff evasion rate for the group. That's his full kit. Now let's move on to his Holo Vision card. The Holo Party ability and Vision card mastery apply to events only. The weapon group it supports are Spear, Bow, Dagger, and Mace. The stats are HP 351, Attack 155, and has 3 agility. Very nice stats. The regular party abilities are Elemental Chain Resistance 36, Crit Rate 20, and Unit Attack Resistance of 20. The bestowed abilities are Defense Penetration 10, and Accuracy 15. The Holo Party ability is Crit Damage up 25 for event quests. This is a very good card. Unit attack resistance and crit rate are both very good, plus it has 10 defense penetration as a bestowed. Zidane or any other physical DPS units will benefit greatly. I highly recommend this vision card if you are picking up Zidane. It is a holo card though, spend wisely. Next up, equipments and Espers. Yeah, there is a lot going on here. His best weapon is his unique dagger, the additional abilities are just too good. The best setup in my opinion is his dagger, the Tetra cards, and a high agility TMR. He can also be built to have pretty good evasion and very high accuracy. I will go over those in the sample team section. The Esper I like the most for him is the Ultros for 20 additional defense penetration. Regular Odin for Man-Eater and accuracy, Dark Bahamut to maximize his follow-up attacks. Sildra for more slash attack and accuracy. Dark Odin, Dark Ifrit and regular Tetra are for evasion builds. For his Truststones with the equipments showing below, I think HP and critical are the best for him. The abilities are showing here. Zidane relies heavily on crit hits, it is a good idea to boost his crit damage. Of course, if you are going for accuracy or evasion, then adjust your Truststone accordingly. With the new system, it is much easier to move your Truststones around. Now sample teams. This first team here is likely to be the most popular setup with Flag Glaciela and Sadali. Zidane's role here is the sub DPS that attacks behind Glaciela. He is not a frontline unit since his AoE resistance is low, he can easily get taken out if he is too far up front. The vision card setup and abilities are also showing on the screen here. The vision card that I want to bring attention to is the Golden Ahriman. It gives the team 10 magic resistance, which is very important in the current magic meta, and it also has 28% dex that can help both Zidane and Glaciela to land more crit hits. In a team like this, Zidane's defense penetration is 100 at all times. He gets 40 from support ability, 30 from Tetra cards, 20 from Esper, and 10 from vision cards bestowed ability. His slash penetration is at 50 to start, and it can be up to 90 after his AoE buff. His unit resistance is at 50 and can be at 75 after his buff. Sadali is the support unit for this team, his AoE resistance buff is very important to help his team survive. With this team, you likely want Glaciela to be the slowest unit and placed in the middle. Both Zidane and Sadali will go over to her and cast their buffs. Then Glaciela buff the whole team's accuracy and move straight forward. Zidane will cast his AoE buff on Sadali on his second turn, then his courage buff on his third turn before finally moving forward. This is not what I like a unit to do typically. But with Zidane, it is not a bad idea to keep him further in the back. The second team is with Wind Veritas instead of Sadali. The only vision card change is Natural Loner in lieu of Golden Ahriman. It does not have any magic resistance, but it gives the team more AP, 10 crit rate, and 25% more attack. And it supports all three units here. Wind Veritas is a great addition to the wind element, his damage is very good and can chain with Glaciela very well. He can also lower AoE resistance and has a group AoE resistance buff. Again, Zidane will need to be behind his teammates to avoid getting KO'd too early. Wind Veritas can use Keen Blade, he could be the middle unit for your team. Be sure to try to get him to 120 when he is released. Next up are the accuracy and evasion builds. Let's go over the accuracy build first as it will be more useful against Earth evasion. The team has regular Tetra Vision card as a sub, and Zidane has the Alex Ring plus Sildra Esper to maximize his accuracy. In a build like this, his accuracy can be at the 150 range. He does not have any high accuracy attacks or sure hit, so it might still not be enough to land hits on top tier evasion units. Be sure he gets the accuracy buff from Glaciela before moving forward. The team on the right is the evasion setup. I didn't really like semi-evasion teams in the past, but I have been running Light Helena with an evade setup, it is actually working out better than I expected. So now I am showing an evade setup for Zidane. You will need 2 limited vision cards to enable this build, the Tifa and 2B cards. Regular Shiva can be replaced by Secrets of the Heart for 18% more luck. but 10 evasion is roughly about 30 luck, so it is better. In a team similar to this, Zidane's evasion is around 140. It is not the best, but can definitely catch some people off guard. However, I still don't recommend semi-evasion teams for him. It could be a fun little team to run. But you would have trouble taking out a well-built Earth team, since Bradley's accuracy is very good and Zidane's AoE resistance is weak. That wraps up my sample teams. Let's look at the dagger weapon group before my final thoughts. The group has unit attack res from Zidane's card and agility from Greater Demon, but it does not have an AoE resistance card yet. So I would say the group is not ready. There are a few overlap with the mace group, so Raph might be the tank for dagger units in the future. Now my final thoughts on Zidane. Zidane is a harder unit to use. He has very good damage with his high defense penetration and crit rate. However, he is somewhat of a glass cannon. Not having good AoE resistance and damage barrier really hurt him. Both of his buffs have some really good effects, but I feel like they should have put his courage on his AoE buff. So it is possible to turn off his self buff for haste or a damage barrier like Orlando's TMR. His main survivability comes from his courage and courage remove ceiling, which is accessed through his self buff. His buffs really limit his options and made it more difficult for movement control. He is very good against unit attack and magic, but he falls really quickly against physical AoE attacks. The best way to run him is to let him cast his group buff twice, and stay back for the initial phase. So he does not get KO'd by AoE attacks. He mostly reminds me of Lightning without a barrier, a unit that can deal very good damage but just can't survive long enough even with courage. With Glacie's LB upgrade giving her courage, Zidane can protect her as well. He does bring an anti-magic angle to wind, but the element is waiting for the next generation DPS or tank to bring them up to date, and Zidane isn't that unit. If you like the character, go for it. He is not bad, he just needs more attention to make him work. His VC, however, is the item I would recommend for everyone. Unit attack resistance for the party, and 10 defense penetration from bestowed are great. Now let's go to sample matches. The first match of the day is my dark team with Vivi going up against Zidane with Flag Glacie and Sadali. Zidane's first turn. AoE buff, increase the group's crit damage plus unit resistance. And wind attack up, and slash penetration up for self. The Zidane here has the slash penetration up accessory from a raid. His slash pen is over 100 after the buff. This is the ideal movement, all three units are getting the accuracy up from Glacie. Zidane's second action, casting the group buff again on Sadali. That's the major issue of casting the group buff twice, my Raph is already in range. So Zidane will not have a chance to cast his courage and courage ceiling buff. Punishing Blade from Zidane activates his follow-up attack for 3 turns. Break physical damage barrier, lower healing power and disable CT up for 3 turns. The total damage from this attack is about 5.4k on Raph, very impressive. Zidane took 4.2k damage from Sephiroth, not great. Sephiroth's LB should take out Zidane here. Not having haste and low AoE resistance are the major weaknesses of Zidane. Raph is so cute with Dagger's mace. Okay, confused Sephiroth finally took out Sadali. Next up is my semi-black mage team against Mono Wind with Zidane, Win Veritas, and Glaciela. I will go over both of these Vivi teams in his 140 showcase. Zidane's first action, walks to the middle and casts his group buff. Win Veritas uses his AoE resistance up group buff. This will help out Zidane greatly. It also gives the team physical man eater up for 3 turns. Zidane is using his AoE buff for the second time. This is the Win Glaciela and Win Veritas combo. Get ready for Win Pierce Chain. Be sure to build a Wind Resistance and Pierce Resistance Truststone to deal with them. My Raph is not in range for Zidane. He has a chance to use his Courage and Courage Sealing self buff. He is now at full power. Man, look at this crazy Wind Pierce combo. This is perfect. Zidane can now come from the back and finish off my units. That's the Punishing Blade, taking out my Lenna. Vivi now goes in for the LB. It has a high chance to stun. I would have lost if Vivi did not stun the enemies. Raph goes in with Release from Life, removes Zidane's Courage and taking him out. These sealing abilities are hit or miss. It really depends on who gets to hit who first. I have a couple more matches. One with Lenna and Zidane against Mono Dark. And the last one with Mono Wind against Lightning Astrius. I will not be commenting on those. If you decided to go for Zidane, good luck on your pulls. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
私は進む。何があろうと合わせましょう。力を貸すわ。あなたの援護無駄にしないわ。見せてあげる。大丈夫だからありがとう。心強いわね。本気で行くわ。闇の力よ。手を貸すぜ。闇は見た。頑張って。それでいい。力を貸すわ。ありがとうな。受け止められるかしら。あらがってまだまだ。覚悟しなさいよ。あんたはもう終わり。言い切った。見せてあげるわ。滅びの始まり。本気で行くわ。負けないぞ。行くぜ。終わりだ。倒してみせる。任せろ。無駄にしないわ。行くよ。エンサの声を見逃さない。 闇の力よ。負けないぞ。おら受け止められるかしら。はあ。それ終わりだ。見てて。倒してみせる。行くよ。
逃げるなら今のうちだぜ。この戦場に何がある？しっかり感謝する。じっくり見せてもらおう。任務をやるか。
私は進む。さあ、何があるから合わせましょう。私が全てを守り抜く。
さあ、蹂躙するのだ。戦いな新たな歴史のために。なめるな。
終わりだ。本気で行くわ。まだまだ。
その程度です。
私はまだ戦える。
さっさと終わらせてやる。
俺の力
仕留める。
受け止められるかしら。
思い知りなさい。
はっ。
させない。
なめるな。その程度です
か。やっ決める。勝ち続けよう。未知なる世界へと進むために。